On today's show, trade season is approaching. How could the Dallas Mavericks get involved? I have a bunch of trade ideas that I think could actually work. We'll talk about that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks.
Mavericks, NBA champions. Bang! It's good! And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Loyalty never fades away.
No, it don't. And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen each and every day. We are free and available on all podcast platforms, including YouTube, where the best way you can help us grow the show is to comment anything below. Let us know what's one trade you want the Mavs to make. What's one player you want the Mavs to trade for? Let us know in the comment section below. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline is you cover the season more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. And joining me, as always, my co-host, writer, contributor at Mavs.com, the Mural Man, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
All right, the mural story is just, it's gone too far now.
Yeah, we've Twitter has taken it to a new level. There are conspiracy theories built on conspiracy theories about the mural.
Like, come on. We need a game to happen desperately.
Our people have been in contact with the murals people.
PR teams are involved. But no, the only thing I'll say about it is really cool that Luka reached out and was like, hey, let's do something about this.
So if you didn't listen to yesterday's episode, we talked about a mural that went up in Deep Ellum near downtown Dallas. And it was...
We just used it as the foundation of a conversation.
Yeah, so we talked about it. It had Luka holding a sign that says, please send help. And so we thought that was an interesting topic. So we talked about that whole narrative yesterday. If you want to listen to that episode, lots of you had many opinions about that, and I don't agree with many of you, and I agree with some of you. But so we talked about that. And then today, the guy that painted the mural updated us. He removed the mural. Apparently, Luka's people reached out to him and said, hey, can we do something else? Because Luka didn't like it, apparently. And now they're going to change it. So we'll see what happens when he changes it. But I thought that was cool that Luka reached out to him.
Yeah, it was cool.
Good on Luka. Good on Luka to do that.
Cool leader move, too, about Luka.
Oh, 100%. So today's episode, though, we're going to trade all those players that Luka was defending when he made the guy when he made the guy take the mural down. Please send help. We're going to try to get Luka some help today. We'll talk about some rumors and things. I got a bunch of trades. I sat in the DMV today in South Dallas. Shout out to you if you've ever been there. It is it's gotten better in my last, I think I went there 7 years ago, but it's still just a place of sitting and waiting for a long time. So I
not just auto renew online, or
so I couldn't. For some reason my numbers wouldn't go through on the online thing, so I had to go in person. But now I got a bunch of trades done. I sat there and did a bunch of trades, so I got them for you. And then later in the show, if we have time, we'll talk about Dorian Finney-Smith and Josh Green coming back. They practiced. They did a full practice, and they're questionable for today's game against the Hawks. So I think
they got a Woj tweet.
Woj even tweeted about them.
Big time.
Seems like they're gonna play, which is awesome for the Mavericks. So we'll talk about that. We literally ran out of intro music. We've never done that before.
Woj hasn't tweeted about Josh Green since draft night. Mavs are lasering in on Josh Green.
I don't think so. Or maybe one of his workouts over the summer. Josh Green has been focused on. Okay. All right. Trade rumors. Bunch of trade rumors bounced today. Shams Charania on The Athletic posted some trade rumors. We had our friend Jake Fisher post some on Yahoo. And so there's a bunch of trade rumors going around all over the place. And so
I was going to say, you haven't used the drop yet, and I was disappointed.
There's a bunch of rumors. And let's just talk about some of these players as ideas. Then later, I'll have some actual concrete deals that we can talk about for the Mavericks.
I only care about one name.
Let's start with him. Terry Rozier.
Scary Terry, baby.
The Hornets are fielding offers for Terry Rozier. Let's start with him.
Yeah, they are.
What could he bring to the Mavericks, and then how do you see that playing out?
You know how many tweets I got when that story dropped? I got so many tweets in DMs, Instagram DMs, and I don't even do really Mav stuff on Instagram. Got a text from somebody about it. I was like, all right. So I like Terry Rozier. It's not like it's Vince Carter or somebody for me, but I would be super, super hyped if they got Terry Rozier. Here's the thing with Rozier. Yes, he would be the thing why I think they would trade him and why I've been like about it is because, he makes $21 million this year, 23 the next year, makes 24.9 the year after that. And then there's like the team option, non-guaranteed and stuff after that. But I just like him because I don't think you have to give up a first round pick to go get him. And he's under contract for so much money that it's not like a $30 million a year type deal. It's, 21, for this year, but
21.
It's a bad team that isn't going anywhere. So it's like, can you
do something for me?
I just think he would work great in that third guard role, whether it's starting alongside Luka and letting Spencer go back to the bench, or Rozier coming off the bench in that role. I've just always liked him. I think he's an underrated defender. He's played in some big games in Boston. I'd just be about it, man. I'm about it. Bring him to Dallas.
If you're looking around the league and you're saying, okay, well, the Mavericks aren't going to trade a first-round pick, who are some players that they could exchange player for player for? Maybe send Josh Craner, some younger player to go over there and to send to the Hornets. They're not going to be asking for a lot. They're maybe trying to get off some salary, get some. They want to probably do what the Thunder just recently did, where they just cleared a bunch of salary and then they were able to take on some of these contracts, get more picks in some of these moves. Yeah. Maybe they're going to try to get picks from people, but if they can't get them, because some of these contracts are long. Terry Rozier's contract is long, right? It's a 4-year deal that you mentioned. So maybe they'll try to go player for player, get off some salary, try something like that, try something different, because nothing's working for them right now. Like literally just with the Miles Bridges situation playing out the way that it is, they don't have anything going. So maybe they're wanting to change it all up, try something different around LaMelo, show them that they can at least move some pieces around to make it interesting for him instead of just the same old guys out there. And if you're looking for players that could fit what the Mavericks need, Terry Rozier is that exact guy. A guy that's probably overlooked, does exactly what they need.
Yeah, and it's like they have some other pieces too that I think if it became a bigger deal, that I would be interested too. Like I've always liked PJ Washington. I think Kelly Oubre would be okay on this team as a backup wing. I think even if if one or two of the bigs for Dallas was in the deal, getting him Mason Plumlee back in the deal. Like there's other guys on Charlotte's roster that I think could be had, that if it became a bigger deal and it became a thing for Charlotte, that they're looking at it saying, hey, we're not even we know we can't get a first for Rozier's contract, but can we get some expirings? Can we get this just contract off our books and either get a few seconds or a younger player or something like that? Yeah. And then Dallas is looking at it saying, all right, we have some expiring contracts. Let's go out and do this thing with Charlotte. That's the route I could see them taking. And that's like the reshuffling the deck you were talking about.
Another rumor that was interesting to me today was Fred VanVleet of the Toronto Raptors. Guard we've talked about. We had a whole podcast.
Wait, we're just not going to talk about Rozier the whole time? I thought that's what we had planned.
Apparently, according to Shams, the Suns and Magic have emerged as a potential free agent suitor for Fred VanVleet. He's going to be a free agent this summer. He already has declined an extension with apparently that can happen. A team can offer an extension. A player can decline it. Did you know
what?
That? You know that can happen? And so with Fred VanVleet, he is probably going to go into free agency. He'll probably want to return to Toronto, but he's not playing that well this year. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But with the Suns being mentioned there, they don't have cap. Like they don't have the space to just sign him outright. The Magic probably do.
Get that passport ready, DeAndre.
But the Suns don't. So how would that work? Well, they would have to sign and trade him. Well, the Mavs can do that too, and they'll have all their picks then. So this is one of those moves we've been talking about where they could do this type of move, trade for Fred VanVleet, but it would have to be a sign and trade this offseason. There's all kinds of complicated things that go on with that, but I found that really interesting that was the talking point around Fred VanVleet, that the Suns and the Magic to a lesser extent are talking about a free agency sign and trade situation.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed when I seen that because I was like, oh, what an agent move. Hey, we have some free agent suitors that are already lining up. Orlando's looking nice right now, for VanVleet. But, I don't know what his money situation. I mean, yeah, he turned down the extension and all of that. He's going to want a big contract and stuff. I think the Suns one was interesting because it's still got Chris Paul, don't you? And even though he's taking a step back, so they're going to try and unload him and all of that. But I'd be interested in VanVleet. I'm kind of uneasy about the fit would be great. And I think if they brought him in right now to this team currently, it's all right, you're a much better team, right? Like you're
Much better, way better, obviously.
Like we're talking like deep playoff run with Fred VanVleet
sure.
alongside Luka. It's just a matter of like, are you willing to pay him?
Are you a title
more
contender?
than Brunson?
Are you a title contender? And I don't think you are. You'd have to add, I think, one more player.
Yeah.
So that's where it is. Coming up, let's talk about a couple more rumors, and then I've got some real trade ideas. A couple for Terry Rozier. Yeah. I've got one for Mike Conley that's kind of interesting. I don't know if they'd be down for this.
I like Mike Conley.
And then D'Angelo Russell is making some news. Talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Rocket Money. If your New Year's goal is to manage your budget better and save you some money, you need Rocket Money. Hosts across this network use Rocket Money. David Locke, I was listening to him. He even says that he used it. Really smart guy, using Rocket Money to help manage his finances. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that helps you cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. 80% of people have subscriptions that they forgot about. I have them. Isaac has them. You probably have them. You're probably sitting there thinking about one that you forgot to cancel right now. Rocket Money helps you cancel those before they charge you. It says, hey, this thing is about to charge you again, and you're like, oh, I don't want that. I don't need to re-up on whatever it was. So check out Rocket Money. Stop throwing your money away. Cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage the expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/LockedOnNBA. That's rocketmoney.com/LockedOnNBA. One more time, rocketmoney.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, Isaac Harris, thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen today. Let's get into some trade rumors. Couple more that we've talked about. Terry Rozier, Fred VanVleet was one that we mentioned. The John Collins rumors are kind of flying up and down. That one, I think we're both out on. I'd rather extend Christian Wood at that point.
You know what I can't understand is why is Utah interested in him? Is this an agent ploy? Like it feels like it's like a his camp type thing. I just don't get it. He doesn't fit with marketing.
Yeah, what does the John Collins for Malik Beasley and Vanderbilt do for the Jazz?
And then you're locked into that big contract, and it's like, is that the pairing you want with marketing?
Yeah, marketing and John Collins, or like John Collins and Walker Kessler. That one kind of works together, but that's not your front court. You know,
yeah, weird.
You're not going anywhere that front court. Jakob Poeltl is another interesting one. He turned down a 4-year, $58 million extension with the Spurs. He seems to be available. That's one I think that the Mavericks should probably look at too. If they could pull off a Jakob Poeltl and a Fred VanVleet, then you're like all of a sudden you're talking. It's not going to happen this year, but it'd have to be.
Here comes your CJ McCollum, Miles Turner.
That's what I'm. Well, my whole thing at the beginning of the year, if they could get Terry Rozier and Miles Turner, they would make the finals. The way the West is played out, I stand by that more than ever right now.
I'm really curious to see where Poeltl goes because I think it's going to be one of the more like underrated moves. Somebody's going to trade for him, and he's going to enter a playoff rotation for a really good team, and it's going to make a big difference. And I'm just really curious where that's at.
He's going to somehow make it onto the Clippers, and we're going to be like, oh, really? Like, really?
I don't think it's Dallas, though. I could be wrong.
No, I don't. I think they're going to want picks. And they also have Josh Richardson and Doug McDermott, 2 former Mavs, available.
I'm kind of done with the Josh Richardson experiment in Dallas, but McDermott, maybe.
Yeah, the Spurs are done with that experiment too, it seems like. Eric Gordon is the other one. They used to just want a first round pick. Now they're asking for maybe a good young player or a first round pick for Eric Gordon. The price has now dropped. I think the price is going to drop even more when it comes down to it.
To a buyout.
And yeah, they may end up buying him out. If you listen to John Wall and Theo Pinson, it's on Theo Pinson's podcast. It's not going well down there in Houston.
Speaking of John Wall, Clippers listing the offers with John Wall looking to.
I got a trade for that one.
Throw it.
You ready for that one? This is my small one I was going to end with, but I'll do this one now. All right.
Okay.
This was inspired by SJ today on Twitter. Shout out to her.
Shout out to SJ. Good Twitter follow.
John Wall for JaVale McGee. Straight up. Who says no?
No, the Clippers are saying no.
But he's not playing that much. They've already benched Reggie Jackson.
But he's playing more than JaVale.
That's what they need, though. They need a backup center.
Okay. Sure. I mean,
you're saying the Clippers say no?
The Clippers are saying no. I mean, I would be down. I'd be down.
That would be an interesting one. The Clippers need to do a 2-for-1 type trade too, or like a consolidation type trade. They have like all these guys, and they need to trade for something that they actually need. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're the Mavs, that's a great move. But if you're the Clippers, yeah, I don't know if that's if that's getting it done for you. That's why I didn't want to start with that one. That one was all right. Here's a couple of Terry Rozier moves that I know you'll be down with.
Frank might have to be in that deal, like Frank and JaVale.
What if the Dallas Mavericks looked at the Hornets and said, "Hey, do you want to get off some long-term, some like money up front, and change some of your parts around? Take Gordon Hayward's contract and Terry Rozier. That's $50 million.
Whoa,
it's a lot.
Whoa.
And we'll send Christian Wood, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Davis Bertans. So for the Hornets, you get off the Hayward money and the injury concerns. You're like, all right, we're at least going to have players that are going to play. The Hornets get the rights to Wood, and you get to pair him with Melo, and you get to try that out for the rest of the season. The Hornets also get Tim Hardaway Jr., who's like a Terry Rozier replacement, who's bigger than him, probably plays a little bit better defense. The Mavs get Terry Rozier. They get off the last year of Bertans and Tim Hardaway Jr. deal. So it's longer-term money for the Hornets, but it's less upfront money if the Hornets want to, I don't know, re-sign Miles Bridges if they end up doing that or not. But that's a big deal. That's a lot of money going back and forth.
Yeah, I don't think the Hornets would do that. The only reason I think the Hornets would do it is, I don't know. I mean, I could see it's a little swap out the parts ish. If the Hornets looked at this Christian Wood run and said, "All right, these past 2 months of Christian Wood have proved to us more than the rest of his career." Now, remember, he was in Charlotte for a little bit too, so they already have a little bit of experience with him. The Gordon Hayward stuff is so hard. It feels like he hasn't played hardly at all.
Yeah.
It just feels like
that's an automatic injury. You're taking on a big contract there. That's why I kind of like this one, because the Mavs are taking on money there. They're like, all right, we'll take on this money just so that we can upgrade to Terry Rozier. I know. I know. Listening, some Mavs fans are probably like, "Don't do that deal. Why would you do that deal to give 2 starters for Terry Rozier and the corpse of Gordon Hayward?"
Okay, here's my thing. If it's right at the deadline and you don't have an extension, anything done with Christian Wood,
yep,
I would do it.
Yeah.
Just because you just can't do it. You can't do it again. You can't lose somebody again for nothing. And if you go past this trade deadline and you don't have an extension with Christian Wood and he's still on your roster, this is what we're all going to talk about. For the rest of this, it's like, there we go.
Didn't get it
Any
done.
big game Christian Wood has is if Christian Wood has a great playoff series, we're like all excited, but it's the thought in the back of all of our heads. Like it's that feeling inside. It's like, oh, this is fun. Cool. All right. Well, he might not be here. So that's, yeah.
On that note, the other one that works is Christian Wood, Josh Green, Frank Ntilikina for Terry Rozier. Then all of a sudden you're making the move that like, okay, you're swapping out Christian Wood for Terry Rozier and the price is Josh Green.
I think Dallas says no to that.
That's an interesting one. See, yeah. It's interesting because you get Terry Rozier for longer. He fits what you need more, even before Christian Wood.
But you're giving up Josh Green too. I think I could see the premise of like Christian Wood, Ntilikina, and like something else for Terry Rozier besides Josh Green. But like you're giving up Wood and Josh Green. That's the
okay. Would they do it if it's Davis, Josh Green, and Ntilikina?
Oh, I think they would.
The Hornets?
Yeah, I think they would.
Yeah,
because you're getting off less money. I think Hornets because you're getting off less money. You know, Davis's deal becomes like partially guaranteed in what, not next year, but the year after, or something like that.
Yeah, one more guaranteed year, and then the year after that, it's partially guaranteed.
And then you get the young guy in Josh Green. You get his rights and all that stuff.
Yeah, that one. So Terry Rozier for
Charlotte would do that
for Davis, Josh Green, and Frank Ntilikina. You put Davis in there for the contract. Count it up. Let's do it. Bring it in. I'm ready for.
I think Charlotte would do that. Yeah.
If that deal happens, then all of a sudden you're excited about that. My other one was, I don't think you'll be into this, was Terry Rozier for Tim and Josh Green. Just straight up. You're getting if you're the Hornets, you're probably getting 2 starters there. But if you're the Mavs, you don't think
I think a lot of it depends on how they view Josh Green.
How the Mavs or Hornets?
Hornets.
Both.
How the Hornets, yeah, kind of both, but how the Hornets view Josh Green and that. I'm really interested in like a Tim for Rozier swap.
This is the one that would work though. Terry for Tim Hardaway Jr. plus Josh Green. You can do Frank instead, but would the Hornets do that? I don't think they would.
No.
You're not getting enough value back if you're the Hornets. Just swapping Terry Rozier for Tim Hardaway Jr. doesn't make it work if you're the Hornets. But if you put Josh Green in there, that makes it a little more interesting, and then you'd probably do it if you're the Hornets.
Yeah, that's more interesting.
So there you go.
Give me some more trades. I'm ready.
That's my Terry Rozier trades coming up. Let's get into some more. Actually, I had one more Terry Rozier trade. I had Terry Rozier and Mason Plumlee for Tim, Josh Green, and Bullock.
Damn.
If you're the Mavs, you get Terry Rozier and Plumlee, so you fill 2 needs. If you're the Hornets, you get maybe 3 starters. Like you get Tim, that's a replacement for Terry Rozier. You get Bullock and Green that are your defensive wings. This team is 27th in defense. For the Mavs, you may be giving up too much defense, but it fills 2 needs that you have really badly.
Yeah, I just think if you're Charlotte and you're getting off Terry Rozier, I'm calling and I'm saying, all right, I want expiring contracts to get off this money. Because outside of Rozier, you're looking at really it's just like Gordon Hayward and then LaMelo and like PJ Washington's probably going to be gone. So
and
like,
then you could do the take on contracts for picks thing.
Yeah, so like if I'm Charlotte and I'm like being serious about a deal with Dallas, I'm calling up and saying, all right, what can we work around Terry Rozier and Christian Wood?
Yeah.
And then going from there. And then it's Dallas saying, well, we need another big back. Mason Plumlee has to be in the deal. And then they're saying, Charlotte's saying, well, we need another guy in there. Like, let's talk about Reggie Bullock. He's a partial guarantee, but it's still expiring.
Yep.
And it's stuff like that. It's like Rozier, Plumlee for like, Reggie, Christian Wood, and I'm just doing this on the fly type of deal that I could see more realistic.
Yeah, if you do, hold on, I almost got it. We're trade machining on the fly. You're almost there with Plumlee and
a little bit more from Dallas.
Plumlee and Rozier for Christian Wood, Bullock, and Josh Green.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd do that if I was Dallas.
That one's an interesting one. Coming up, let's get into some more trades. I got a couple more for, I got one for Mike Conley, for D'Angelo Russell. A couple more trades that we can talk about the Mavericks. Could they do them? Could they pull it off? And then we'll talk about Dorian and Josh Green coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered with all the odds, spreads, and everything that you want on the NFL, on NBA, on all kinds of sports. Go check it out. The Dallas Cowboys, we them boys,
Woohoo.
beat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Congrats to them. They are playing in San Francisco. Isaac Harris, guess the line.
San Francisco by 3.
3.5 for San Francisco. They got the home field advantage. Plus, they're giving them a little extra there. That's wild that Brock Purdy is favored against Dak Prescott. By the way, Dak Prescott, the oldest quarterback left in the NFL playoffs, which is wild. You can bet on that. You can bet on all kinds of other things on BetOnline. They have basketball as well. They have futures, all kinds of different things. You can check it out. It's BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into some more trades. We did all Terry Rozier trades, basically. That's what we just did. And so let's get into some other fake trades. I got one for Mike Conley. This one, okay. If the Jazz are just looking and say, all right, we want to get some more young guys, and we want to get another young piece, and we want to move off Conley's deal, would they do Davis, Theo Pinson, and Josh Green for Mike Conley? Straight up.
That's interesting. I feel like Utah would want to create cap space, right?
Right.
Like if they're getting off Conley. So I think it would be
or get picks. I feel like they would rather get picks. If the Mavs throw a first in this, it's done. Like done deal.
Yeah. But
they won't.
I think something would be Dwight and Reggie for Mike Conley.
A win. You think they want him to do a win now plus the?
Well, that's more of like you're getting 2 solid vets that can like just finish the season strong with your team. You can think, see if you want to bring, somebody back. Both of those guys can fit on the team. Dwight can mentor Walker Kessler, that type of thing. Reggie's a good guy to have in the locker room. And it's more of getting off that second year. Mike Conley's 20-something million next year. Both those guys are basically kind of.
Dwight starts mentoring Walker Kessler, and Dwight goes, hold on, you're allowed to block the shots that they put up?
Listen, you're going to get hit in the face, but.
Another one I came up with was a D'Angelo Russell move The D'Angelo Russell one is real interesting. You could do one of two things here. One trade, the smaller one, is Russell for Tim Hardaway and Dwight Powell. Then you get off of Tim's deal for the next 2 years. D'Angelo Russell's expiring. You bring in an off the bench. You're a flyer. You're trying D'Angelo Russell. He already said that if you mess up with my talents, you mess up with me. Whatever that quote was recently with the Timberwolves.
It's so weird.
They could re-sign him if they want. They could also just let him walk, and then you clear some space there, which is good. Make another move, and all of a sudden you can actually have cap space this offseason. So that's one move. It's a little interesting. I feel like
Minnesota, if they're getting rid of D'Angelo Russell, they got to get another point guard back. So I think you'd have to look at a third team. Look at a third team of that.
Well, hold on there, Isaac, because
people forget about Frank.
What if we throw in Naz Reid and Frank Ntilikina in this deal?
Stop. I think they need a starting point guard back. So could you canvass the league and say, all right, who could we flip Dwight Powell to for, some type of point guard thing? I think it would be interesting for them if they got somebody like Tim, and it's like adding Tim, a good vet to that locker room, another shooter,
and Dwight, Tim and Dwight.
Yeah. But the only reason I was about Dwight is like, all right, they got Gobert, they have Naz Reid who plays really well, Cat, all that, and it's like, all right, how much is Dwight gonna play?
But send Naz Reid back to the Mavs.
But who's gonna run point for them? Like who's gonna start at point for them?
That's the big problem.
So it's like roping in a third team of that if somebody to play point. But I'm interested. I'm not the biggest D'Lo fan in the world.
Me either.
But I'm halfway interested in the like swapping out the pieces. If you brought D'Lo here for as a third team, it's like, hey, we'll take him for the rest of the year. He's an expiring contract. If you got off some money or something, bring him as the third guard off the bench. Like, I'm not opposed to it. I'm just not, jumping for joy out in Victory Park about it.
No, I don't think I would be either.
Should Dallas be interested in DeAndre Ayton at all?
Yeah, they should be interested for sure. He fills a need for them. I just think what the Suns are going to ask, and you kind of wonder after some of these like playoff matchups if there's a tax if you destroy us in the playoffs the year before. Like, hey, people, Lakers fans like to talk about, there's a Lakers tax because nobody wants to see the Lakers be good. Okay, well, I think the Suns will have a Mavs tax because they don't want the Mavs to be any good.
Yeah, it's just I don't think I'm kind of scarred against paying big men a lot of money. I'm kind of like done with it. I'm like, I just want to pay the next guy we pay a lot of sum of money to. I just want it to be an awesome wing or an awesome.
Got to be able to dribble and shoot.
Yeah, but I just look at it's the Mike Conleys, it's the Russell Westbrook, it's the it's those type of moves that we're watching with Dallas. They had a Bojan thing in The Athletic, I think, the other day. And it was like potential teams that would be interested in it. And, Tim Cato answered the Dallas part in that really well. It's like, I don't see Dallas giving up a first round pick. No, like, they're not. Unless it's going to be a star, they're not going to give up a first round pick right now. They'll save it for the summer.
Nope.
But I do think Dallas is going to be really active before the deadline. And it's looking at players, Terry Rozier, Russell Westbrook, Mike Conley. Some of these guys are going to be had without a first round pick, and it's going to be a swapping out the parts type thing. And it's going to be looking at Dallas saying, you have some expiring contracts, some contracts that can meet some of these salary numbers. So, if it meant Dallas taking on a little bit of money past this year, but they're not giving up a first round pick, that's what I could see Dallas doing with some of these, third guards or wings, or if they really want to swap out some, a piece in the front court or something like that.
Last one I got for you. Eric Gordon for Davis and Josh Green. If they just want a young player. Okay.
Is it bad that I'm just like, I'm kind of believing too much in Josh Green?
No, because that shows great growth in you because you were so out on him over the offseason.
I know. It's just, I don't know. I know Eric Gordon would be good on this team. I don't know. Just call me homerish. That I would be kind of hesitant about giving up Josh Green for Eric Gordon.
That's fine. No, I'm in on that. Because Eric Gordon doesn't fill enough of the holes to me. Like if he was a point guard,
and he's an expiring contract. Like I would be more open.
He's got another year. He's got another year.
Rozier. I thought he was expiring.
I think he's got one more year. Let me look it up real quick.
If it's a longer term guy, I'd be more open to it. If it's an expiring contract guy, I'm like,
It's like a non-guarantee the next year, so there's some stuff with it. But yeah, but it's not like this guaranteed.
Can I give a hottish take? I think if we're looking at safe guys that won't be traded before the deadline, I think outside of Luka, Josh Green's really high up that list.
Wow.
Aussie.
Like if we listed off guys on the roster outside of Luka, Josh Green might be number 2 on guys that they don't trade.
Wow. Blow my mind.
Anyway.
Interesting one. Dorian and Josh Green, speaking of, are supposed to be back, or we're hoping they're back against the Hawks. Real quick, how does that change what the Mavericks are doing with the Hawks and then going forward?
One of the biggest things I'm looking forward to seeing is what does Christian Wood at the 5 look like with those guys back?
Yes.
What does that look like? Having wing defenders, and it's not just constant, getting beat on the perimeter. It's not Christian Wood at the 5 with Tim Hardaway as your primary wing defender. So like that's the type of stuff of let's see what this lineup looks like with Dorian in there, playing with Christian Wood, with Josh Green playing with Christian Wood and all that. So I'm excited the perimeter defense is the biggest thing we're all looking forward to. So I'm excited for it, man. See some fresh legs out there.
It's going to take him a minute. Josh has been out for 20 games. He was out.
That's insane.
He was out like a week before Christmas, which is crazy. That's a long time ago. So it's going to take him a minute to get their legs under them. If the shot doesn't go right away, like it's going to be fine. I think they'll eventually catch up. But so good to have those two guys back. They needed them back so badly, and now they go into this stretch where they'll have this homestand for 4 games. And it's going to be really good to see those guys try and, do exactly what Isaac said. How can they play with Christian Wood as the 5? Does Kid even continue with that? Does he keep with that? I'm interested to see if he does. He should, but does he keep with that? So we'll be monitoring that. We'll have everything here on Locked On Mavs. We'll have post-game episodes for you. We'll have 5 days a week here on Locked On Mavs. Thanks for making us your first listen. Go check out Locked On NBA Game to Game. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On NBA Game to Game on the Locked On NBA YouTube channel, as well as the Locked On NBA podcast feed. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.